Hello YouTube, I Fix It All here, Team I Fix It All. This is part 2 of the repair job I need to do on the Waring blender. So I had a little bit of time to think about this, and I think what I'm going to do is run a tap down this shank. I've got the motor mechanism wrapped up right now with tape because I'm going to move forward with this idea I have. And what I'll do is I will get my alignment marks here. There we go. I will tap threads to the point where I know I should stop by constantly coming back and test fitting this onto this and determining how far down I need to go. So that's what I plan to do. I'll be right back and I'll run this tap down and I will show you how things moved along. What I do know is I can use a regular nut. I don't have to use reverse thread because this part screws on the end of the motor clockwise, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So therefore, if I tap some threads on this shank to accept a nut, then I can tack weld the nut to the fan blade and screw it on till it hits the end of the threads, and that's where it'll live the rest of its life. Alright, be right back. So it looks like I've got a few threads started here, and the foundation for everything is going to be this nut. So now that I know I have a nut that is working well, moving forward with the idea of tack welding the nut to the face of that fan blade is probably going to work. The only dilemma I have is a detail. This fan blade was flopping around in there and it egged out the hole a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go about centering this fan blade again because it's off by a few thousandths. I don't want to create a vibration when the machine is running. I need to figure out how to make this inner diameter hole smaller. And I may end up just let me think about this for a minute. When I get the tack weld on the nut, now I can screw the fan blade on. But since I can't guarantee the nut's going to be tack welded in the dead center, I'll probably have to rebalance this fan. Find out where it may not even be an issue. We shall see. Let me keep tapping. I'm going to go down to my vise down there. And I'm going to have to clamp this as low as I can in my vise and then continue running my tap. Got to go much lower and then jump back and forth and test fit it in the housing to make sure that it's going to clearance. Yeah, make sure my fan blade clears this aluminum portion properly, the right depth. Could take some measurements on that in advance and try to get a ballpark depth of threads that I need to cut. Hang on. Full stop. That ain't gonna work. It's a good thing I stopped tapping threads where I did. If I keep on tapping threads, then I'll be running threads against a bushing. The brass bushing that's up in there. I have to secure this fan to this. It probably needs to be right in here. I suppose I could still weld the nut. Or a taller bushing, then drill into the side and then thread it for a set screw, like you see on a lot of pulleys. Got that ridge right there. I wish that was longer. Regroup. So I've been doing some thinking, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to, this high metal right here, oops, I'm going to use that to my advantage. That's up. It's flopping around. What I need to do is evenly bend all this metal inboard. This high rib, this standoff. Bend it inboard. And I think I'm just going to use a socket. Sockets naturally have this complaint I have. I usually grind the face of my sockets off, but they're normally tapered inward right through here. And I can use that negative quality to my advantage by putting the socket over top of this and then striking it with a hammer, and it should evenly roll that metal inward, which would create an environment where the hole will be smaller and it'll fit on this more snug. And then I can assemble the motor back as minimal as possible and go in through here and adjust the height of where the fan needs to be, then pull it back apart again and tack weld physically the fan to the shaft. It's based on the idea I can keep this thing square. We shall see. Hang tight. What was that? Oh, it's a little socket. So I've got me a socket that fits in here real good. I'm going to take this little socket, just peck at it. Let's see if I'm reducing the diameter at all. Okay, I gotta hit her a little harder. That's working, but it bent the face of this. I'll flatten it back out again. Yeah, maybe I should have used that in the first place. This side up. Now back to what I was doing. That's rolling it in. Not looking like I thought it would. I'm going to tap it a little bit more. This is meticulous. Maybe that's not the best choice. Might go with a smaller socket. Yeah, this might be better. Again, I'm just trying to flare that metal inward. Might give it a little bit of encouragement too with my van pliers. Mm-hmm. That side goes up. That should be a little bit more hard to put on. But as I work it on there, it'll profile match itself. Piece of protection. There we go. Alrighty. Definitely not squared up. I don't know yet how I'm going to square this fan blade up onto the shaft, but I know that I'll figure it out. Now I want to assemble the motor with the least amount of parts as possible to locate this. I wonder. Cut away part of this plastic here. I'm going to remove some of this plastic down here. Hang tight. I just needed to get rid of some of that tape so that I can simulate what I disassembled so that the height of this rotor is in the proper location. So what I know is I had a metal wafer spring. It's bent spring steel. It's made to absorb the thrust of the motor when it engages. I remember that I had one of these on here, Bakelite washer, then the thrust washer, and then I think I had two of these Bakelite washers on top. That would be like so. Has some springiness to it. And I'll put this cover on. Again, what I'm trying to do is locate where does the fan blade need to be and then solve how to square it up in a couple of minutes before I tack weld it. find my Sharpie mark. There it is. That's my bearings moving. Maybe I should put it up front first. Put it in up front here. Oh, the fan is stopping me. Well, that's what I was wanting. Try to get this faced correctly. Let's see if the motor's bumping. That's what I was after. So where the fan is right now, it's slightly bumping something, but that tells me I need to scoot the fan downward some more. So let's take the front off. And now I think I'm understanding what these other Bakelite washers were for. To shim the face of the fan off of the face of my bearing right there. So I've got a couple of Bakelite washers left. Which should add up to a significant distance. I'm going to change my zoom here a little bit. There we go. I'm going to reassemble. Get it faced right. There we go. Now let's see if the fan okay. The case might be self-squaring the fan blade off. The case itself might be squaring that fan blade off. I'm going to watch the height of each fan blade and see if it's ending in the same spot as it goes around. If each blade is, if there's a wobble. I should, if the fan blade is not faced off square, then as I turn, some of these fan blades will be low and some will be high. But the first thing I need to do is, it's so tight right now, I need to add a washer just to shim in for the play. So let me figure that out. I'm going to have to put it in only for the idea that when I take this off and put another washer on, that it presses the fan blade down another couple thousandths of an inch. I can use anything. It doesn't have to be a washer. Hang tight. Let's see if we can pop this out. Well, it's all coming apart. I don't want to disturb that blade. It looks like I did a little bit. The fan blade. Let me get a washer to add, because it'll just be used to press it deeper, and then I'll take that washer out. Hang tight. I'm going to use this real thin banding material. What I'm trying to do is create a gap that's normally experienced by the rotor of a motor. So I'm going to just simply lay that on top of this. If it'll go on. No, it's too small. Hang on. So I didn't really want to use something this thick, but I believe it'll be fine. Drop that on there. Put the front on first, I think is what we're learning. And put the back on second. Line up our timing marks. Okay. What I've done is pressed the fan blade down further by the thickness of that additional washer to create what I'm trying to imagine as something called end play. So now I'm going to disassemble. That's weird. I got these two damned ears that keep bumping into the blades. These two ears right here. The fan blade has to live ahead of those two ears. Down in here. Hang on, let me figure out what just happened. I don't know what's going on. Hang tight. So it looks like the fan is asking me to Get back on this again. Oops. Again, all I'm trying to do is squeeze that high metal inboard in a uniform pattern. Stack these washers back up. Make sure I've got the same on the other end. Yep. Okay, I see how that has to come out from now on. I've literally got to rotate the fan blades around those ears and go clockwise. All right. Here we go. Wash, rinse, and repeat. The same thing. Put the back on, press it together. Find the timing marks. And we're there. Then remove the front. Remove that washer and see if it spins proper. Again, what I just did, self-squared the that's all I was after. Get that washer off of there. The face of this squared that fan blade up. So now we've got to go in and rotate counterclockwise. Now let's see if everything turns. It's a little tight. Oh, I see what's going on. I can't even install bolts yet through the housing because it's just because of the way it's designed. I can see my thrust washer play. That's good. So I guess I'm going to have to push down on this housing and just kind of lift up a little bit. Now I get to observe the fan blades visually, see if the leading edge of each fan blade seems to be falling in the same trajectory right along the sidewall of the case as I rotate the shaft. That'll tell me if my fan blade is wobbly or not, and that means it's not square and it won't run in a balanced way. There's no way of seems like that fan blade is I'm looking over here. That one looks awful high. That one looks a little low. Let me go to the opposite one and see if it's twice as high. I wonder if I can get a measurement on that. I'm going to take it apart now and see if I can figure out a way to measure whether or not that fan blade is actually squared up. That's where it needs to live, right there. I'll take these washers off while we're getting as good. I cannot disturb that fan blade whatsoever right now. Alright, I'll be right back. I've got to figure out how to take a measurement and see if my blade is square with this x-axis is 90 degrees with the y. Hang tight. Alright, so I've decided that I have a way to approach my squaring that I've been worried about by coming in with my dial indicator here. And I can face off one jaw to the center of this shaft, but be resting on the area in between fan blades. This is based on the assumption that the stamping is calibrated perfectly of how the fan blade was stamped out. So I'm going to make a measurement now. The left side of my jaw, I'm trying to target the center of the shaft, and on the right jaw, I'm trying to target the center of the shaft. And it looks like I'm coming up with like somewhere around 3.885-ish. Let's flip it 180 to here. And if we're faced off correctly, we should be about the same. Got to find my landing pad right here. Oh, dang you. above 9 there, so that means I'm kicked high on this side. Just by a wee bit. I guess after I tack weld I could tune this up. So let's see where we're at now. We're under 3.9. We're like at 3.889 there. Let's go to the opposite side, which is right here. Find our landing pad up top. And have our jaw like in the center line of the shaft on both ends. I'm thinking that's close enough. That's 3.9. I'm going to roll with that. I think that's how it's going to get tack welded. Right like that. Hope it's right. I'm not going to film the tack welding. Hang tight, guys. Oh, by the way, it just occurred to me I'm going to have to tack weld the back. I can't do anything to the front. Because the front is faced off on a Bakelite washer, and I don't want to create a surface area right there that's going to wear this washer out. So I guess I'll just ground clamp here and go in there and just run my welder on low, super low. Hope I don't blow a hole in that fan blade. We shall see. Alright, so I got some tack welds on. 3 points. I tried to keep it like a triangle. Let me get this tape off and work on fit testing this to the housing of the motor. Alright, there it is. Let's get this thing together. I prepped all my washers, my thrust washer and such. Front and rear. Let's see if it clearances correctly. Crossing my damn fingers. Come on. How many times do we have to say it? Put the front end first for some reason. There we go. Get the timing marks lined up. Maybe I can screw this on and turn it. Yeah, that'll make sense. Voila. Now I'm going to look at those fan blades and see what's going on. I need a reference point though. I'm going to get you guys dialed in where you can follow these fan blades by the background housing. You can see how well it's balanced. That one's kind of low. Maybe one of these blades crashed when it came dislodged off the shaft. Because it really looks like the only low one. Yeah, that's a low blade right there. I think I'm going to leave well enough alone. Alright, hang tight. I'm going to double check my weld and make sure it's good and tight, and then I'm going to start reassembly. I was actually able to tune those blades up a little better if I just took my scissors and barely opened and grabbed the leading edge of each blade and pushed down. I was able to calibrate everybody at the same height visually off the edge of this housing. I think you can see that. Just pointing out what was accomplished by all the efforts. So this is what I meant by squaring off the blade, because it's very critical when you have a motor running and it's attached to a fan. If the fan is bent up in any way, shape, or form, it's going to cause a shakiness to the motor. It's real free too. Got good clearances. Alright, I'm going to put this baby together. Hang tight. Looking good so far.